And it looks like all of the players are ready in the game, so we're going to have to stop guessing once again and start finding out. And
Yeah, I mean,
here we
you don't
go.
like when I try guessing stuff, and
Absolutely love the guessing, Shadow. The analysis is on point as always. But Twitch chat, this is the moment you've all been waiting for. The grand finals of the February Nova Cup. We have Abrasiert versus the Underdogs. Game 1, let's go!
pawn shop alert.
Pawn shop, and there's the chaos for Kingdanzz. He is an
Oh wait,
unashamed
it's
chaos abuser.
wait, Kingdanzz gonna report Widderson here.
Yeah, Kingdanzz
Don't pick
tagline,
castle
don't pick
or
castle
else.
or else. And Widderson, straight snap picking that castle.
Lucy
Well,
Castle
Lucy's
as well,
doing
so
the
there's
same.
Clash of Castle.
Okay.
But there is one thing going in the favor of Widderson, and that's Lucy's castle sending onto him. So oftentimes you have less pressure receiving from the castle, but it can be different because Lucy is receiving from Sakura.
She is receiving from Sakura, so yeah, the early game pressure that might be difficult to combat when you're playing Castle is kind of alleviated there because Kingdanzz is playing one of the slowest openers in the whole game.
Have you seen this positioning from Kingdanzz?
He's moved it
Is he
slightly,
allergic
like
to the
half
wall?
a square away from the wall? What is he doing?
I don't know.
Okay, he's just baiting the casters.
Yeah, okay, yeah, makes sense. He just knew I would
Oh.
see it.
I gotta say though, the pyro from Widderson is a strange choice here because they really are showing the same weak waves now, like wave 7, wave 8, wave 10. Although he does have the casket, so maybe that's why.
The thing that is that he wants to have a wave 7 send because he has casket.
Yep.
I would presume he will hide it.
Yeah, and whip it out on 7.
Yeah, that's my guess. Drachir does play the superior offset gun also, so that's pretty good.
Oh, there it is, yeah. 1 square away from the middle.
And Lucy is going for a gate guard. With the Nekomata, very strong opener.
Lucy, the only player in this game with a fast and aggressive opener there, the 5-worker gate guard start. Kind of risky actually with Castle because you can quite often find yourself unable to build the unit you want on wave 2 if you do get snailed on 1.
Yeah, but it was safe with the cat. That's the saving grace for Lucy. Also Drachir playing with the treasure hunt, indicating that they want to control a little bit more the early game here, giving less choice to Widderson and King.
And again, Lucy just really not under any pressure from that Sakura start from Kingdanzz, but his workers will catch up pretty soon. And we do, in fact, see Lucy pushing the 6th worker there to no send, knowing that Kingdanzz just doesn't have that much Mythium stored.
And those are quite fast waves too, so that's important to note. So good recognition by Lucy as well.
Yep.
And only Widderson sending on wave 3.
Oh, if Widderson goes for the 2nd snail here, I think Drachir can actually leak pretty decently. He is hunting his pack rat, and the only melee unit he has on the board is this golden buckler here, which is really bad on wave 3.
Widderson went for the king up. He expects the non-treasure hunt as an answer, and that holds double snail. So
a
good
really
play
nice read there from
Drachir.
Drachir. Really nice read from Drachir.
But that puts Drachir in a very, very strong position. He doesn't have a weak wave to speak of right now, according to the units he has on the board.
And Widderson's kicking himself when he sees this. In fact, this is going to leak, right? Even against single
extended
snail.
wave, that's good. That's very good. They have the worker advantage for a long time, and they didn't send.
They didn't send, but neither did Kingdanzz. So Lucy still has to respect that. But yeah, Widderson got to be kicking himself here with that king upgrade. If he sent the 2nd snail, this leak on Drachir would have been really bad, I think.
This wave is just so long. Hermit from Lucy is possible, potentially. So Widderson might be forced to show the casket here.
He might have to, yeah. There's that 80 Mythium, there's that Hermit from Lucy. Alright, Widderson, he doesn't have
enough for casket.
He's going to have to place 2 bucklers, or a Devilfish maybe.
Devilfish is the best option.
Alright, Lucy, she doesn't get a snail to go with the Hermit, which is very fortunate for Widderson. Kingdanzz is going for a full send as well, by the way, so there is a brute snail coming out from him into Lucy's lane. She also has the devilfish, but her Nekomata only having 3 stacks, it doesn't hit that magical 2-shot breakpoint against the wave 4.
It's a good pair up with the gate guard though.
That's true.
When they attack the same target, it's pretty good though.
Let's see if she can snipe this brute. The devilfish is doing its job. It's tanking for a very, very long time. But it does now go down. Can she kill the brute? Looks like no. Meanwhile, Widderson, he is leaking to the Hermit's end, but only very small. Lucy actually leaking more there to the brute snail. Is this enough to kill the Sakura, though? 300 HP. I think it is. Kingdanzz, Sakura going down.
I think that was their goal, trying to get an early stack out through Widderson's weakness.
Yep.
Interesting to note, both castle players are ahead in workers now.
Yeah, they are. Castle players on top where they like to be. Kingdanzz with 6 workers, and this really hurts, by the way, the lost stack on the Sakura, because it makes all of his future waves that much more difficult as well.
Yes, and that's why it's very important to try and get that stack out early on, because then it's a little bit easier. It's very hard, but still a bit easier to get it. So
All right,
no
nobody
resend,
resending here.
but there is one thing I'm afraid of, and this is the thing I'm afraid.
Yeah. Widderson has got some Mythium stored up, but Drachir is not scared here. So, correctly guessing that the send is not coming on wave 5, even though it could have been 120 sends, he's still hunting that pack rat.
Yeah, what I'm afraid of is Widderson going for the wave 7.
Straight 7
Which
could
in
be
theory
bad,
is
yeah.
very good, but there's a surprise in the roll.
Well, here it comes though. So it's just income. It's Drake, Snail, but this is still a very strong income send. Drachir could be in trouble.
I mean, it's the best power merc in the game here.
Yeah. But
Positioning is correct from Drachir here. This buckler is essential to protect the range mercenaries attacking the gun, so that's a very nice knowledge. Drachir, hello? Range mercenary? That might be problematic because I think they can die here.
If the Drake goes on the gun, then yeah, he's in a lot of trouble. But it does not.
No,
it doesn't. It goes on to one of the infiltrators. It's still 160 Mythium send though. Oh wow, he's doing really well. He's just gonna hold, right?
Yeah, the gun DPS is very good on wave 6 because pierce damage is OP on wave 6.
Yeah, of course. That does make sense, yeah. Oh, nice hold there from Drachir. Very, very nice hold. And they just go for an income resend themselves on 7.
It's income. I think the income choice is very good from Drachir also on the Sakura. It's targeting the tanks rather than the Sakura. I think that's a very nice decision.
Yeah.
We do have the casket from Widderson, and that's why Lucy went for income as well.
Widderson's even shifting 100 gold here, it looks like.
I mean, very confident in the casket, which is understandable, preparing for an answer for wave 8. That is the Phoenix, probably. Fire Lord, sorry.
This thing gonna get run down. Kingdanzz did hunt a pack rat here, and he's definitely losing the Sakura stack, right?
I mean, he's leaking.
Yeah. So he's losing the stack, right?
I mean, if he's leaking, probably.
Yeah, that tracks. Widderson, meanwhile... Oh, wait. Widderson can never kill this Drake, right? He can never kill the Drake.
I don't think he kills it.
Kill leaks 20% to a snail. But yeah, the Drake is just happily 1v1ing the Maiden here. Wait, if he gets the spell, then maybe? Oh, but no. So
leaking damage.
He is Drake shamed here. And this is first... Well, okay, there was first blood earlier, but this is the first real leak here where the King's going to take some decent damage.
It was fake blood early on. This one is real blood.
Was but a scratch. And here comes a big boy send from Kingdanzz. This is an ogre with a couple of snail friends walking into Lucy's lane, and this might just overwhelm the Lord of Death.
It might just, but Drachir looking pretty strong here on wave 8. Did build accordingly to protect Lucy. The gun is not protected currently, but can add a looter to protect it.
He's even hunting his pack right here, so Drachir feeling pretty confident on this wave. And Lucy probably feeling okay because she has that Lord of Death, which is a really strong unit on wave 8. Problem is, the Ogre's a really strong mercenary as well.
I think Lucy felt pretty safe on this wave too.
The gun
I think
is
that's why
protected from
Drachir.
Drachir.
Oh wait, I lives.
Oh, the ogre is dying pretty
It's a
quickly.
looter.
So the Harbinger is rushing that down. Does it get a second summon? It does not, just barely missing that second summon. That would have been really clutch. Look at this Daphne though. Talking about clutch, that survived a lot longer than it could have.
Drachir does leak a little
Drachir
bit.
does
at the end.
leak. Waldo? Drachir, you got the income send. Your teammate got the 240 send. You're supposed to hold here, my friend.
I mean, it's a
I think
little bit
that's
of a trigger
Lucy's
hunting.
unsure pings coming out. There's certainly a lot of them. She's screaming Waldo down the mic.
Oh no! It's like I'm doing a Wilson kind of variation of Waldo.
Yeah. And that's kind of a costly mistake, actually, because what could have been an easy cover there from Drachir ends up being 20% king damage shaved off the side of the Underdogs.
Yeah, I mean it's equal king HP. We do have a worker advantage with Drachir though. That was the upside of what they did. Drachir is pushing very aggressively and treasure hunts every wave. Kingdanzz feels like he's doing something similar, but he's a little bit lower on workers. In terms of medium generated currently, Drachir is ahead by 50 due to the worker advantage.
Yep. And Widderson is forced to stay really high value just because he's so weak on wave 10.
Doesn't have an
He's
answer
plus
for 10.
140
That's
here.
lost.
Disgusting overbuild there in lane 1 from Widderson.
I wonder if this is spotted by Lucy and Drachir. Oh, they still go 10. They still
Still
go
go
10. I
for
think
the
that's
send,
a
yeah.
very nice choice in the end still.
It makes sense because there's only like defensive or economist spells available, so the wave 11 send becomes much less appealing.
And I think that Drachir and Lucy are now going to go for a long save with Embargo. I
That
think
makes
they
sense,
recognize
yeah.
that this is a chaos from Kingdanzz.
That makes sense for sure. And Kingdanzz is almost definitely taking the pawn shop, right? Even though Embargo is so good, especially after a wave 10 send.
Yeah, and I think Embargo is safe for Lucy and Drachir because they have the gun to cover 12. 11 might be an issue, but they're going to receive a send here, so that's going to be solving the issue.
And Drachir is even feeling the need to boost his Orchid here. That's 19 gold he'll never see again. He's only receiving an income send.
I'm quite curious about something. What's the interaction between Pawn Shop and Sakura?
You can make a profit from it. I think actually the Sakura, because it gains 30 value every wave after wave 10, I think you can make a profit after one wave. Only a small one of like 2 or 3 gold, but yeah, interesting interaction. Kingdanzz leaking 59%, Lucy leaking to the income send there 60%. That's not ideal. And Widderson will leak as well, despite being 1475 value here on wave 10.
I think Lucy was perfectly aware she was not holding wave 10 here.
Yeah, with her Harbinger and Lord of Death. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why Drachir did not treasure hunt this way.
So they take some damage, but not a huge amount, and of course Drachir is able to fully cover his teammate. So let's see. Embargo coming out from Drachir, presumably the same from Widderson and Lucy. Kingdanzz, what is your choice here? Will you take the Embargo along with everybody else, or is Pawn Shop Chaos just too overpowered?
I think his answer is going to be Pawn Shop.
He's making us wait.
I mean, Drachir and Lucy are doing their play according to that singular choice from Kingdanzz, but he does go for the Embargo.
He goes for the Embargo, yeah. Interesting choice there. I mean, I can see why, because Embargo is just so very, very strong. Like, the amount of gold is pretty good, 80 gold, but the 80 Mythium on top, you just get so much resource from that spell.
There is one big issue, though. Both the build of Widderson and Kingdanzz are weak on 13.
Yeah, and now Kingdanzz won't be able to just sell his Trinity Archer for something else.
Yeah, and I mean, what I fear, okay, hear me out, it's a long shot, but I fear that Drachir expect Kingdanzz to be on the Pawn Shop and not send 13.
That'd be an interesting one, yeah. Like, can they just afford to skip? And Drachir just has 3 pack rats, so he will have that extra impact swift value on wave 13 if they do decide to skip, but it's still a risky proposition with the Embargo send coming out from Widderson and Kingdanzz.
Yeah, Drachir is Drachir is not going to build too much here. Okay, no, he's gonna build full. Okay.
But Widderson is
He
just
could've-
so weak, though, on 13. Like, sure, he can add a Phoenix, but because he's playing an AoE build, that's even quite difficult to do, right? Like, he'll need to add a split.
I mean, what he will need is, yeah, add the split and turn around into the AoE roll after that.
Yep.
So the split needs to not be ranged, and so it's a devilfish at best, or a Varg.
Oh, and Drachir getting the Millennium there in his reroll, looking pretty solid.
Yeah, he did not hide it, so Widderson and Kingdanzz are aware. And
But everybody skips. Everybody skips. Let's see if we get a boost here from Drachir now, because this could be excellent mind games.
Yeah, I tell you, I think Drachir and Lucy just skipped because they expect Kingdanzz to be on the
Pawn shop, yeah, so they want to make him waste some gold by selling that Trinity Archer or something, right?
Yeah. I think that's the only reason why they did that.
Yep. Now we do see the Doomsday coming out, but no, okay, only 10 gold boosted from Drachir there, so not the end of the world, but they will now see that there's no pawn shop on Kingdanzz.
Yeah, no pawn shop on Kingdanzz. Now they're gonna kick themselves a little bit because Kingdanzz is a little bit stronger. It's not okay. He's not insanely strong on 14. He's a little bit stronger on 13.
But they're quite happy not to send when they see this Phoenix from Widderson, by the way, who did add the split as expected just to make sure the Phoenix tanks properly. And here comes the wave 14 send from everybody. We've got Needlers, we've got Four Eyes, we've got Ogres.
That's favoring Drachir and Lucy. The build of Drachir, yes, it has a lot of Swift, but he has those cascades. Now, showing them.
And the Doomsday, of course, which is very, very good on wave 14 in its own right.
And no Ghost Knights, so that Doomsday is very effective here.
Yep. Lucy just getting the last bit of value out that she can afford. Widderson, it does have the highest value in the game, it has to be said, but that also means he's sending less Mythium compared to everybody else.
Not a fan of the double 4 from Lucy, but I do understand that she wants to deal with the Phoenix.
She wants to make sure the Phoenix goes down, and it does work. That Phoenix is down.
So, looking at Drachir, he's looking pretty decent. The wave is clear.
Kingdanzz is very dead, by the way. And yeah, Drachir's just fully holding. Wow, that's so clutch. Lucy leaks 109%. Danzz leaks 111. Widderson, he's doing really well as well. He's clearing nearly the entire wave, only leaking those range sends. Is that enough to keep them alive? They have a few king ups. They have 64% HP, but this is a double Four Eyes, a Needler, and a pack leader. This is going to be insane damage.
So even if they survive here, Drachir and Lucy definitely take less damage, but it looks like the damage is pretty high here.
Oh, I think they are going to survive, but they're so low here. Going all the way down to 7%. Drachir and Lucy, they do take some damage as well, but they still have half of their King's HP remaining. So Widderson and Kingdanzz, they can't afford a single mistake now. One more, even a small leak reaching the King, and it's game over for these guys.
No push from Lucy and Drachir, full push from Vidder and Kingdanzz. Looks like they want to go 16, while Drachir and Lucy are probably aiming to 17 here.
Drachir and Lucy, they're clearly aiming to tee this one all the way to the bank, so they're going for the classic overbuild and starve play. They're hiding their value as well, so Kingdanzz and Widderson may be seeing that neither player have built here. Even if they weren't planning to send on 16, well, they have to now.
They need to be careful on who's holding and how well they're holding and what's the build.
Yep.
Because Kingdanzz did not build a single unit here, so they need to be aware of that. Did they spot it?
But neither did Drachir and Lucy, right?
That is true. They did shift a lot of gold, but if there's a leak here, they won't be, or is Kingdanzz leaking?
It's close, but surely they can see from like how close this is to Kingdanzz leaking. They know he hasn't built anything here.
Kingdanzz is full pushing. They're going for the Hail Mary play here.
They are, knowing that Widderson has the Pyros. And Drachir and Lucy, they do not send. So surely we're going to see pack rats kept above ground. Surely we're going to see boosted orchids. But Drachir's building a Red Eyes here, which is just not the unit for wave 16.
I would love to see the second upgraded gun over the Red Eye for now. The Red Eye is not good value here, but the second gun is good value here and next.
Now, what I will say is that Lucy has some really good tanks. Kingclaw, clearly the best unit in the game, but it's fantastic against Wave 16. It's fantastic against Ogres. And this Hades with the double Leviathan buff can absolutely pop off. Let's see how many dragons this thing can summon.
Okay, Drachir, the idea is that Lucy prepares for here and Drachir
Kingdanzz is
prepares
even
for
selling
next.
units. He's down to below 2k value, so he's going to leak the entire wave to nothing here. This is super clutch now. How well can Lucy and Drachir do against this suicide play from Abrasiert?
I mean, it was their only choice. They never win on 17, so they know
Yeah.
that, so they want to go for an undercut.
Well, Lucy, she's got 2 Thanatoses out. She's about to get another one pretty soon, but one dies. Oh,
Yeah,
Drachir just
look at the
holds, though! Drachir just holds! This game is over!
Yeah, because now the undercut does not work. There's still the possibility of a resend, but Drachir and Lucy just recognize that and just don't push and hold the resend.
I mean, yeah, even Widderson, who's the holder for Team Abrasiert, his value is also incredibly low.
I mean, they just die here to no send.
Yeah, they do. Okay. Well, turns out that Drachir and Lucy were saving for next game, but in the end, the suicide play, and I love that aggressive play from Abrasiert, but it didn't quite work out for them, unfortunately. And that does mean that the Underdogs have taken this first game in the best of 5 series. Well played, you guys.
Yeah, but I must say it's a very good recognition from Drachir and Lucy to say the only play that Widderson and Kingdanzz have to win this game is to full push onto Lucy. So not pushing, recognizing that 17 is a sure win. Just low push. Drachir has the boars, Lucy has the build for 16. Just have faith that if they don't push, they die on 17 anyhow. So I think that's a good recognition.
Yeah, really solid play. What a game, by the way, Shadow. Like, this was really close, really back and forth during the early game. And then, sure, like, the guys, they took a bit of a lead going into the mid game, especially with the, what was it, with Drachir fully holding that massive wave 14 send. And just shaving so much HP off of Kingdanzz and Widderson all the way down to 6%. And that led to drastic measures from Abrasiert with a full suicide push on Kingdanzz, even selling his units to try and kill Lucy on 16, which he did manage to leak her, but with Drachir holding the send from Widderson, it just wasn't enough.
I mean, the early game was pretty silent. It's really in the mid game that it really began to appear some problems, and I really think that that 13 skip. The only reason they skipped 13 is because Punch Up Chaos was in the game.
Yeah, so they wanted to like force Kingdanzz to sell his Trinity Archer or something like that, and then they would go for the wave 14 send, right?
Yeah, and so even though Kingdanzz didn't go for the punch up, Widderson still built for 13, which played against Widderson Kingdanzz because Widderson was overbuilding to try and counteract a possible embargo, and it just didn't happen. He just built for his weak wave still.
Man, what a clutch game, Shadow. I'm really excited to see what happens in game number 2 now.
I'm gonna tell you, Widderson's not gonna pick Peck Castle.
I can tell you as well that neither will Lucy.
That's true, but maybe Drachir will.
Maybe Drachir will. Alright, so
It has been seen.
Remember, Twitch chat, in the Conquest format, players cannot pick a Mastermind option again after they have won with it. So Drachir was on... Read that game, Shadow? Remind me?
I believe he was.
And Lucy was on the castle, so they cannot re-pick those Mastermind options, while Kingdanzz and Widderson, who have, well, clearly not won a game yet, so they still have the entire pool of Mastermind options available to them.
I can confirm Drachir was greed.
Drachir was greed. Okay, cool. Right. I mean, what do Widderson and Kingdanzz need to do to bring this one back now? Probably feeling a little bit shook after losing the first game. You never want to give away an advantage so early on in a best of 5 series. But, you know, these guys, very good at playing well under pressure.
I think they need to return to their style that was used on the previous series. We didn't see that big of a save here on either side. Everybody going for a bit more income. And not a lot of synchronous sends also in the early game.
Yep.
So I think Widderson and Kingdanzz need to focus a bit more and try to find those common weak waves.
Anyway, we're about to find out, guys, because game number 2 is coming right up. Let's go!
And We do have as Legion spells Titan, Giant Snail. That's Drachir's favorite, and Magician.
So with Titan, oh, Lucy is such a skilled player. She cartel rolled Priestess Mask with Titan in the game. Holy moly, I wish I was as good as Lucy at this game.
Yeah, but also good contrast here. Lucy played the castle and now going to play the cartel, so very distinct style here
Yeah,
between the
polar
two.
opposites.
And there is the gun though on both Drachir and Lucy, and in the past they have been recognized by gun playing a lot of guns in their early season
Shadow,
when they started the game.
Shadow, my friend, I can tell you right now, there is absolutely 0% chance that Lucy is playing the Gatling gun here instead of the Potor Mask. It's not going to happen.
I know, but I'm just recollecting history here
Yeah.
and just saying they're recognized by their gun plays.
And Drachir not going for the gun either. He's going for a Grawl start. Actually, is that going to be Grawl into Bunk on 3? I don't love it.
It will be. It will be because he has APS Sea Dragon with it, which enables 11 and 12 to be covered and allowing a really strong push to get that possible resend on 11. So maybe playing around that already.
Yep. Now, one thing I will say about Lucy's role is it's not quite as perfect as the one that Julian had earlier on the show. She does have the Priestess Mask, but she doesn't have something like a Grawl or a good answer for Wave 10 or anything like that. So she does have weaknesses in the role, but her early game, like her first 7 or 8 waves, are going to be really, really easy. Expect Lucy to push very, very hard this game.
There is a little bit of a contrast. There's 2 roles within that role. There's the Priestess Mask, yes, but very few tanks for the Gate Antler also. So I wonder if she's gonna favor a little bit more towards the Priestess or towards the Gate later on.
Yeah, and the White Main Gates are certainly incredible top end in this role. The one thing I would say is that they don't play that well with each other, right? Because with Priestess Mask, you want to have a long split down here with your masks just kiting the wave forever. But if you do that and then you have a White Main Gate circle, you're going to get your gates killed.
Yeah, that's exactly my point. I'm really curious on what she's going to favor, because if she favors the gate, we can have something called a little Zamba, right?
Yeah.
And have the gate still tank. It does split the wave, but for that you need to have strong DPS, and so maybe she focuses more towards the mask early and only have the gate starting at wave 9.
Yep. Now we do see all of the players taking their income here, apart from Kingdanzz, who's going to go for a try-hard send against Lucy on wave 4, but he's going to be really disappointed when he sees this unit here because it just makes his wave 4 play so much more difficult.
Yeah, so there's 2 possibilities here for Kingdanzz. Either he skips or he go for income. I do presume he will go for the income, but with Cartel it is something you can do to long save, possibly aim for the Mimic.
Yep.
On wave 6 is a possibility, especially with the bunk on the board.
Alright, so with the double snail, it looks like Widderson is doing just fine, although he's cutting it pretty close, honestly, and only receiving 1 snail means that Kingdanzz will be fine as well. I'm curious why Drachir, I think he could have sent another 40 here.
Yeah, but I think he wants to protect the possibility of Kingdanzz going long here, and Kingdanzz is going to go for the Dino here, and it might just be to force Kingdanzz to not go long also, like just go say I didn't send you full, I might send you on 4, just prepare that, and he just gets his income to get the Pilgrim.
Yep, and Lucy is adding a nice little kite here with the double Mask Spirit edition, and of course the False Maiden on the left. So let's see.
This is just an easy hold, so.
Yeah, it will be an easy hold.
I like the fact that Kingdanzz did not go for the King up here, saving the Mythium for extra pressure. You need that against Priestess Mask. You need to make them push themselves a little bit more.
This is one of those roles where if you give it an inch, it will take a mile, and Lucy can just... She's going to push hard anyway off of this Dino Send for sure.
Yeah, but with more Mythium you have more chance to punish it. That's the point here.
Yeah, of course. And meanwhile, The 80 send here against Kingdanzz on wave 4. Now I understand why Drachir didn't send that 40 left over on wave 3, because he's actually getting a decent leak here. 42% against Kingdanzz on wave 4.
Yeah, those resends are very important, especially at eye level, because it makes the enemy question. Like, you ask the question, do you have the answer for this wave? Are you sure I full send? And asking those questions really adds a layer, and that's what it's all about here at the highest level of play. Ask those questions.
Oh, look, this, by the way, Widderson is sending a Hermit against Drachir's Bunk on wave 5, but Drachir has the perfect answer here with the Sea Dragon. So not only does this do fantastic damage against the Scorpion on 5, but it's also going to provide so much extra HP for the Banana Bunk that I think, even though this is a big send coming out from Widderson, Drachir should be just fine here.
Yeah, so typically Drachir should be careful for a resend, also on 6. But he can just get a maiden in the split and should do quite fine still. Will be interesting to see what is his choice.
That Scorpion is already down. This does look like an easy hold from Drachir, so very well played there. Lucy actually leaking the resend, though she does have 10 workers, so I don't think she's too disappointed with that.
Yeah, that's the type of leak you're kind of fine with. It does hinder the economy of the Priestess player a little bit, because she loses a bit of the gold.
Yep.
But I think she's going to take it nonetheless.
Oh, she's absolutely fine with this. It's a pretty small leak. It's 3 creeps and a fiend. Drachir, he won't be able to cover any of it, but the king damage is very minor. And meanwhile, Lucy, she just has a ton of Mythium, 120 already saved. And she does go for a Drake here on 6, so let's see how Widderson handles that one. In fact, Kingdanzz is going for a full resend here with a Brute. Lucy, she is going to get the Hellraiser, of course, so she should be fine, but she can't afford to raise the split, so that Brute, will it go straight onto... Okay, she actually sells the mask so that she can raise the split, so now the Brute's going to go away from the Priestess, and this should be just a fine hold for her here.
It is a correct play. Widderson is a little bit in a pickle in terms of gold situation. He's going to need to go for 2 infiltrators. No, okay, he's upping the split and with a consort.
I mean, Widderson's +5 on value here. Like, the Drake is good, and the DT is going to take a while for this infiltrator to kill. Let's see, does this archer go down?
Yes.
It does. Okay, now Widderson might end up being in a bit of trouble because of that. A bit of a miss positioning there, letting his archer take too much aggro. Lucy does leak 80% to the Brute resend, though. And Drachir, I don't think he's holding either Shadow. This is going to be some decent king damage.
Yeah, he just added the APS here, did not add the split tank, so this means that everything was on the bunk.
Yeah.
It is king damage, but I must say that the Sun's leak is worse than it appears here. He was stuck at 6 workers because of the pack rat.
Yeah, 700 value. But man, I mean, I said that the leak on wave 5 for Lucy was absolutely fine, and it was. But this leak to the resend is really not, because now their king is looking pretty unhappy with himself, down at 67% HP, while King and Widderson are still nearly full.
Yeah, King and Vidder are currently looking at wave 10 here. That's the best choice against the Priestess. Hit her before she hits the power spike in the mid game.
Yep.
Also, it can be good for Drachir still. Sea Dragon Bunk can do pretty well on wave 10. But with this long of a save, it can still hurt him. What's going for him is that Widderson is low worker, and he's banking on those treasure hunts though.
Talking about the power spike, look at Kingdanzz workers. 13 workers. He's actually comfortably ahead of the Priestess Mask player, which is kind of crazy actually.
Yeah, he's banking on the fact that Drachir and Lucy will not send on wave 8. Because they want to protect their wave 10, so I think he recognized that they want to go 10. But no, Kingdanzz wants to go 8.
There's a mimic send from Kingdanzz, and this is, again, a one-sided send. Lucy does
add
one-sided
send, but a very well-placed one.
So she's clearly not expecting the wave 8 send, although that said, if the Antler ends up tanking the mimic, this could go pretty well for Lucy.
The issue is that wave 8 is pretty good against the Antler, and Nekomata is tanking the Mimic before it.
Yeah, that's true. So let's see, how quickly can this mask just decimate the Cobras?
I don't think it's fast enough. I think that's the answer.
The melee units are going straight for the Mimic, though. They are going to snipe it, I think. And the Priestess Mask is clearing up on this left-hand side, so everything here
Priestess.
goes down. But the Mimic is still alive. All of the melee creeps are dead. And, okay, he gets a couple of more kills over the back of the
It's
Mimic.
not
But
atrocious.
doesn't kill it, and that's 12 gold on the Mimic, so Kingdanzz will take that. I think it's a decent leak. It's a decent bit of gold on the Mimic.
It's not atrocious. The problem is that if Lucy had an answer for 10, then she's in a good position.
Yep.
But now she doesn't have an answer for 10, so we're gonna see what she decides to do. Not very confident on what the option is gonna be.
Talking about wave 10, Kingdanzz doesn't look amazing there himself and doesn't really have options in his role either, other than Lioness and Alpha Male, but the rest of his stuff is pretty weak on 10. Widderson, of course, is a god there, with APS, with Trinity Archer, with Consorts.
Drachir is not shifting for the Fatalizer. I think he will be needing to sell the Maiden to get it. And I think he won't have a choice to do so because Lucy is so weak on wave 10. Oh, wait, I say that, but she rerolled, and look what she got.
Oh, Lucy, very nice there with the Halo and the Aqua as well, because she's got a lot of spell damage in her role.
Yeah, so that's very good. So that means that Drachir is not forced into selling for the Fatalizer. I would still think he does it, selling the Maiden for it. It's a pretty decent option.
He does, yeah.
And he does it.
It's respectable. I can definitely see why he did that. He's only receiving an income sent from Widderson, but of course he can't know that.
He can't know that, but it's the safer option.
Yep.
He knows Lucy is not the strongest here, and he knows that he has a strong 11 and 12 with the Life Matter bunk. It's the safer option. It's a good way to get back into the game if your send is successful as well.
Yep.
So I think you're going to be pretty happy with that decision.
Now Widderson's obviously going to hold here. He's on value with Trinity Archer and APS. Kingdanzz, though, he's receiving a big send. He did re-roll into the Nightmare here, so he has got some good damage for the wave, but the Ghost Knight is just doing its job so well there. It's surviving, it's not going down, it's tanking all of the impact damage. This is really good. Okay, it does finally die, but, I mean, it certainly did its job. Kingdanzz leaking here on wave 10, despite having 1500 value. Lucy leaks as well, of course, to be expected from the Priestess Mask player, but King leaking here, and that is a shutdown as well.
Kind of surprising it's a shutdown. I mean, Widderson did control Drachir pretty well in the early game. But now the cartel's gonna kick in, and it's all about whose worker is better, but also whose king is better.
Yep.
So right now the income is in favor for Widderson and Drachir, and that's despite Widderson being a very low worker throughout the early game. Showing the power of the rat still in the early game, but now you need to transition into workers. Still pretty low still. So play for Drachir and Lucy, Force 13. If you want to come back, Force 13 seems to be the better play here. Yes, it's a gate, but it does protect the 14 of Lucy. So forcing it means pushing aggressively. They've done that somewhat. Lucy especially, 200 under.
Does she want to go into that white main circle? She's starting to build her melee units around the antler, so she has left a couple of spots there for the gates at the front, and of course taking the Titan on the Priestess is a very solid choice here.
So Widderson, 12 workers. I do expect them to skip 13. They want to go for a finish later on. 14 is a probably targeted wave, and they expect the 13 sand as an answer for Drachir and Lucy. That's the expectation. Let's see if they're right.
Kingdanzz looking very solid there with his value, with his Magician on the gate and the Harbinger, and this Warg enjoying a little bit of mana regeneration there as well. Widderson going for a full
everyone has the right to their
here.
dreams, right?
Yeah, so Widderson, he's shifting his 300 gold here. He's obviously very strong on this wave. He's keeping a spot open for his Phoenix right there on the APS.
Yeah, I mean, he's hiding the Titan.
Oh, he actually adds it, so he feels scared here.
No, it's PTSD of yesterday.
Yeah. They don't want to just
PTSD
lose
of
to a
yesterday.
random wave 12 send. He even used the Titan straight away as well.
Yeah, I mean, it's the safer option. He's ahead, so
Why
I
risk
think
it?
it's safer. Yeah, why risk it? I mean, but showing it does mean that Drachir and Lucy might look to that 14 as well.
Drachir sending a lizard. He just needed a little bit of gold to make sure he could get his Doomsday here. But the send isn't coming from Widderson and Kingdanzz either.
Yeah, I mean that's the right play for Kingdanzz and Widderson. They have answers for 13.
Yep.
They see the weak wave of Lucy being 14. And they want to target it a little bit, but with the Doomsday, might that change? Maybe. Maybe they will aim 15 because this area is not invincible there on 15. We're gonna see what are the expectations for each team. If Drachir and Lucy expect a 14 send, they will go for Income King or a full send. I would expect Lucy go for Income King while Drachir tries to break. So let's see what are the reactions here.
The value is looking a lot more stable on the side of Widderson and Kingdanzz. They have a decent value lead over their opponents, and Kingdanzz is also ahead in workers. He's just having a really good game here.
So they are trying for the break here on 14. Widderson and Kingdanzz are saving here. They want to go for the end on 15, it looks like. It does open up 16 as well, but the mask could be prepared on 15.
Maybe a bit of an undercut potential here. Widderson and Kingdanzz, although he reads it, he hardens his golem, and Lucy's centaur is going to be very sad here, just wailing away against a hardened golem. It's not going to do what she wants it to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of surprised she tries for the break here instead of Income King. Kingdanzz and Widderson respect the send here and go for some King spell.
Okay. I can see it. And they do have full King HP, so they definitely can't die here no matter what happens. The best that Lucy and Drachir can hope for is to claim this shutdown from Kingdanzz and get a ton of gold from pillage damage against the king. They won't win the game here.
No, the goal is not to win here, it's to try and get some gold back.
There's Needler's doing work, it's getting all the kills. In fact, it got double stacked there for a moment.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of good. It's a bit of
but Kingdanzz is just clearing up the entire wave. Does he
have
right?
enough to kill the Needler? Yes, he has, and
wow.
It's going to be a leak on Widderson instead. Interesting.
Widderson leaks the Centaur and the Hermit only, and Kingdanzz holds, not just holds, but comfortably.
Yeah, I'm kind of surprised. I didn't expect the role of...
With that value, he's done so well.
Maybe the Needler wasn't the send?
Wow, okay, interesting. I mean, that looked like it was perfect Needler action, right? It got so many last hits on all of the little slimes. It got double speed boost for a very short time there. I mean, if that wasn't the ideal Needler scenario, I don't know what is.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, it's kind of surprising. He was looking the weakest here on 14, and he still held.
I'm really impressed, actually, that Kingdanzz was able to hold there.
But now they just decide to save a bit longer. Drachir and Lucy perfectly recognize they don't go on 15 though, to wear some masks. But I fear it won't be enough to hold it here.
Yeah, both of them having Tantrum masks is nice, but they're going to be so far undervalued, Shadow. I'm really scared for these guys here.
Yeah, and we do see, however, Widderson pretty low on value, gonna leak here to the
Widderson is going to pro leak here. He is on shutdown. It's only 25 gold though, so it's not the end of the world. I think he's completely fine to leak there. 25 gold does not outweigh the extra time they're getting from this leak here.
I mean, Income King is the correct play here for Lucy and Drachir. Try and survive. They know the values are pretty low now on Widderson and Kingdanzz, so if they survive somehow, don't ask me why. If they survive, they might still have a window to come back here.
It's a big if, though, right, Shadow? And they're so far undervalued. The sends are absolutely enormous. We see the double Needler coming out from King, just going to shred through Lucy's Swift Arcane units. They will have a fully upgraded King, of course, but it's not full HP, so Tenacity maybe not able to save them here.
It might not be enough, but the weight is gonna be pretty low to the mask here. So one spell on the king could be enough to get through.
And the master doing a ton of work. She's got a very nice kite there on Lucy's lane. The Azaria is staying alive for a very long time, actually.
I mean, that's one of the conditions. Azaria doing Azaria things.
But all of her masks are dead now. That's 154% for Lucy, 117% for Drachir.
Drachir's lane is pretty low though. Let's see, they do have full spell, but I don't think they have enough. I think it's gonna be game here.
Yeah, it's too much damage. Oh wait, is it? Is it? They survived!
Oh!
Shadow, they
Wait,
got 3%
okay,
HP!
wait. Okay, so now what's the value situation at? Wait. Widerson's gonna be overbuilt? It's gonna be on value. Okay. 18?
Oh.
Anyone?
But Widderson's starting to use the Flying Archer, the Flying Phoenix. This thing's going to do some serious damage. Look at this. It has the Leviathan buff. It has the NPS buff. Like, his value's not crazy, but his build just has insane synergy.
Okay, let's wait. Okay, we do have a lot of magic damage, yes, on Kingdanzz, but does the split work here? There won't be enough Mythium for 18 for Drachir and Lucy. They barely push. They're still under because of the push of Kingdanzz and Widder. If they skip 18, it's very risky. Maybe they're banking on the fact that Widder and Kingdanzz just starve too long and don't get enough value.
Oh, apologies. It looks like the scoreboard says 1-1. Fix that. And here does come the send from Widderson and Kingdanzz. So Lucy and Drachir now, their only hope is to survive this send, which means Lucy definitely needs a split adjustment here, because if that Azaria goes down, then her hopes are over. Drachir, though, he has got 3 Fatalizers with an APS buff, so he can do pretty well this wave.
He also buys a lot of time in the split here with the mask.
Yep. And Lucy is insanely far undervalued. She's minus 860. Drachir is minus 610. I mean, I admire the effort here, but I think they're just going to be overwhelmed.
You know Drachir is stressed a little bit. He's telling Lucy where to place the Vashroom, so
Yep.
stress is here.
And her Azaria tanks 3. It's going to die. It goes down. Azaria is dead, and I think Lucy's going to end up leaking pretty big. Let's have a look at Drachir's lane. He is getting his Doomsday to tank. His Fatalizers are alive. He's going to hold, but Lucy is going to leak really big. That Azaria needed to stay alive.
Drachir holding is big, but Lucy's leak
I just
is
don't
bigger.
know that it's enough. Remember, they have 5% King HP. They can't take any damage here.
Are the Fatalizers enough? There's still 1 full HP, but the damage
they go
not
down
there.
too quick. Lucy, with that Azaria dying here against Wave 18, it's just too much for Drachir to cover. And GG, Team Abrasiert even the score. 1-1.
Wow, okay. Well, we have more than 3 games, right?
Yeah, we have more than 3 games, yeah. Ah, Lucy, no. I don't know, like, where does she need to place her mask? Maybe directly in front of the other one, just to make sure that the Priestess only tanks 1 or 2 units?
Yeah, I mean, it was a very stressful situation. Like, it needs to be very precise. The thing that saved the Azaria is not the mask, is the Vashroom position.
Yep.
Drachir was pinging like crazy to tell Lucy where to place it. Turns out it's half a square higher would have been fine, because then it would have been 1 on the Azaria and 2 on the rest. It's a question of millimeter with Azaria. Just have the proof here.
Yeah, and I got a feel for them, because that was a really ballsy play that they just made to skip on Wave 18, and it nearly worked. Like, if that Azaria tanks 1 or 2 less creeps, then Lucy just holds way better. Maybe she can even hold, actually, if that Azaria stays alive. The magic damage is insane on Wave 18, but it wasn't to be, and that does mean that Team Abrasiert are now back swinging in this tournament. 1-1 is the scoreline.
We must say that Kingdanzz early game was insane.
Oh yeah, he outpushed Priestess Mask. Like, not many people can do that. Not many builds can do that. But he is 9 workers after a wave 4 send. He's leaking the Poter on wave 5. He's leaking it again really badly on wave 6, while holding a brute send himself there. And yeah, Kingdanzz, he just had an insane early game. He's 13 workers on wave 7, while the Priestess Mask player is only on 10.
But also wave 8. Wave 8 was crucial for Kingdanzz also to get Lucy there.
Yeah, he got his guy, and he got 12 gold on that mimic as well. I mean,
God, this guy.
he got his, and this is just a dream game from Kingdanzz, playing absolutely out of his mind, which he needed to do, right? They were one game behind.
Yeah, I mean that ties up the series. Uh, I mean, Drachir and Lucy might be a little bit more stressed here. I felt the nerves of Drachir hitting here at 18, so let's see if he can calm down and recover here.
Yeah, yeah. Man, that's just absolutely insane. What a series. So, Shadow, have you got any favourites as we move into game number 3?
I mean, the now Vidder cannot take the green. It was his safety net.
Yep.
Kingdanzz cannot take the cartel.
Yep.
That was his aggressive option. Vidder on cartel, I'm not too convinced about it. Going on to next game, if there's an aggressive spells, I favor Drachir and Lucy. I think they need to play the control style. They need to control Kingdanzz, and I think Drachir is one of the players that can do it. He just needs to send a little bit less, be more controlled, and I
Yep.
think that's going to be working in their favor.
Yeah, absolutely. And let's see if Drachir and Lucy are feeling flustered now after that loss. Lucy has to be kicking herself, like getting that Azaria killed so quickly on the crucial wave 18. I mean, it happens to the best of us, right? But it can't feel good when you're in the Nova Cup finals to have that happen to you. So hopefully they can keep their cool, get this back under control, and, they could still win this one, Shadow. It's only 1-1.
Yeah. I mean, yes. I mean, it's just how well can they reset the mental? Because after 16, I can see the adrenaline being very high and the stress being very high. Also,
Yep.
we have a chance, but we need to make a risky shot on 18. But the positioning needs to be precise. So it's just a question of recovering here. I know I wouldn't be able to, but let's see if these guys are better than me here.
I think it goes without saying that they're better than me, and that's why I'm casting and not playing. But guys, here it is, game number 3. The score is even at 1-1. Abrasiert versus the Underdogs. Let's go.
All right, so redraw from Widderson, going back to that safety, but that's because there's Divine Blessing in this game. We had 2 Divine Blessing games, right? This final.
Yeah, we did. And Kingdanzz is picking the Chaos here.
So they're accomplishing the same idea here from Widderson. They want to search and answer for Divine Blessing. It's just 2 different way to do it. There's one with the safety, Widderson with his signature looter placement also.
Yep.
It's just a matter of searching at the right time. And Widderson's gonna have a LOD Tempest. Ooh, maybe shying away from the Divine
And the
Blessing.
Archer as well. Flying Archer. Pretty insane.
I mean, after 2 rerolls, I think this roll is pretty good, even if he doesn't have Divine Blessing. Let's see if he's gonna use it anyhow. Like, the attack speed can still be useful of the LOD. I don't think it's still that valuable compared to money, so maybe tax allowance is a little bit better in this situation.
Mm-hmm. All right,
King
Lucy
Danton is...
has the Casket Angler, which is a very solid opener in its own right. She also has that Gate Guard, which means you can nicely cover the weak wave on 6 there.
I mean, not only the Gate Guard, but the Atom. The
Yeah.
Atom's gonna be pretty stable early with Tank Line, and the Casket can provide it.
Oh, and look at this. So Kingdanzz, he goes for the 5-worker Windhawk opener, and he actually gets quite lucky there because he's playing Chaos, remember? So if his Chaos roll didn't have a playable tier 3, he could have been in trouble on wave 2. Like, we see he gets the Steed here, which is fine, but if that had been like a Gate Guard or something that he wouldn't have been able to afford to build, he could have been in a bit of a sticky situation.
Yeah, so now his answer is probably 2 Anglers. That would be the best situation for him. Maybe a Seedling, but I don't think it's useful, so I think he's gonna stick to 2 Anglers. A Crow Pixie? I don't like the Crow Pixie.
He does change his mind. He's going back for the Anglers, it seems. And meanwhile, Drachir is adding a Ranger to his Honeyflower, which is solid. Lucy staying 4 workers, really feeling the pressure there from Kingdanzz not sending on wave 1.
Intriguing positioning by Kingdanzz, I must say.
Okay, so yeah, his anglers are going to get absolutely run down here, right? Well, they do split tank
like
perfectly. What?
What is this
Kingdanzz.
position?
He's just giving us a masterclass in positioning, it looks like. Even this one's going to survive. It's going to kill the whales before it dies. Or no, okay. Not quite perfect.
Don't be
Come
too
on,
ambitious.
Kingdanzz. Do better next time. But yeah, Lucy was able to hold the send there, and now Drachir and Kingdanzz both on 6 workers apiece, while Widderson is lagging behind there with only 4.
I mean, it's the price you need to pay when playing pack rats.
Of course. Lucy, she's only going to send the 1 snail, so Widderson will definitely be able to get away with another treasure hunt here, which he does.
Just a Mythium update here. With the treasure hunt, he's still equal to Kingdanzz, so looks pretty good overall. Equal to Drachir as well. It is Lucy behind in Mythium generation.
Yeah, but look, Disco Shadow, there was a double snail resend from Drachir. Kingdanzz on 220 value. By all rights, should be in a bit of danger here. He did, of course, get that green devil out, like the gargoyle, sorry, which gives him a bit of a fighting chance, but it's still a 57% leak against income here. Meanwhile, Drachir, of course, the flower player, was able to get away with 235 value on wave 3 and not leak to a 60 send from Kingdanzz, from Widderson.
Also, important to note, the flower player did receive a 60 here. Can be in danger to a DT resend. It will come after income from Vedder, but he's gonna prepare for 5 here, not going to let anything to randomness here, and that's pretty good for Drachir.
A good call, I think, and Widderson, it looks like, is not going for that post-income DT regardless. Kingdanzz is sending a Fiend here, but Lucy, of course, upgrading that 75 stack. Angler is going to be more than fine here, and in fact enjoy the release of pressure that that Fiend represents.
Yeah, stable early game is what Lucy and Drachir wants, but I want to see them maybe save a bit of Mythium and aim for a weak wave. Weak wave is pretty hard to find against Widderson. I mean, resend on 5 could catch him if he shifts for the Harbinger.
Yeah.
And I mean, same goes for Kingdanzz. A Hermit, if he goes for the Violet, can be problematic.
Lucy and Drachir both have a little bit of Mythium stored up, and there's that Hermit coming out from Drachir. Kingdanzz, he cannot afford a Violet here, at least not without selling, but he just goes for the Bounty Hunter instead. And of course, the Seraphim here just deals infinite magic damage against the Scorpion on fire, so I think Kingdanzz will do pretty fine. And the Hermit, it turns out, is not going to do very much, because the only AoE that Kingdanzz has on the board is this one little seedling.
I mean, and you say it won't do pretty well, but I think it's a very good send from Drachir, because the best option for Kingdanzz was to go for that Violet upgrade.
Yeah, of course.
And so anything other than that is a worse option that's not really worth a different send.
And the Hermit is doing solid magic damage as well against the natural and fortified units that Kingdanzz has on the board. But I mean, he's doing completely fine. And again, look at this split tanking from his build. I need to take notes, guys. Screenshot this build from Kingdanzz here. The aggro is insane. Meanwhile, Waldo over in lane 1 does leak 31% against the Brute and the Snails. And this Hermit will sneak through in Kingdanz's lane as well. So, first blood, this time goes the side of the Underdogs.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a very good spot on the side of Drachir and Lucy to go for wave 5, preventing Vidder to safely shift for the Harbinger. He did shift, but utilizing the pack rat instead. But now he's not getting the Harbinger, and he cannot add too much, so the resend is a bit dangerous again.
Yeah, his value is looking pretty low. In fact, Kingdanzz is going for a second Bounty Hunter here. He might be a little bit staged when he sees this Brute and Snail wander into his lane on 6. Surely he's going to make the Devilfish. He's not?
I don't
think so. He
needs the damage.
Yeah.
He needs the damage.
Alright, now the double Snail for Widderson just looks like a bit of a snack. He will be completely fine, so let's focus on Kingdanz's lane. But again, the focus is absolutely insane here. King really putting on a positioning masterclass, it seems, in game number 3.
I mean, that's what you need. That's what you need when you play aggressively. And just to say, in the mid game, if those are Kingpin, more HP on them, it can be the difference maker as well.
Yeah. So despite Kingdanzz Like we were a little bit scared for him here, but he clearly wasn't scared, and we see why here. He's doing insanely well, only leaking a low HP brute against a full tryhard send from Drachir, and now the pressure is really in favour of Team Abrasiert because they got this resend here on 6. It didn't do any damage to their king, and they had 150 saved up.
Kingdanzz deciding to send income here, recognizing that Lucy might get the kingpin on 8, trying to catch her greeting instead. I think that's a nice decision, bro.
Yeah, but Lucy, she's on very high value. She does have the casket. It's only income from Kingdanzz as well. I think Lucy will be fine. I'm interested in how these brute resends from Drachir and Lucy work out, though. Widderson, I'm pretty sure, is going to be totally fine. He doesn't even hunt his pack ret. And Kingdanzz, Chaos rolling into this elite archer, he's going to be totally fine as well.
I mean, he still minus 120. He does not have the Harbinger.
But now his focus is ruined. So now that he's added this range unit, his magical focus, which did so well on the first 6 waves, is gone all of a sudden. His units are lining up one by one to die to the brute, and he will actually be able to leak here, I think. It won't be huge, though.
Lucy's holding, by the way.
Yeah, Lucy does hold. It's only income plus a king up, actually, from Kingdanzz, so not too surprising that she holds there. Widderson, of course, holding as well.
It's very good for her because now only Drachir has the pressure on him. So the downside is that she needs to stay low worker, but she can stay low worker and get the kingpin.
But look this, Shadow. Ghost Knight on 8, name a more iconic duo, and how is Drachir going to answer this? Well, the answer is a banana bunk, which is pretty solid, but even though he's over 1,000 value, this send from Widderson is absolutely huge, and the Ghost Knight is just insane against all of these units. His one saving grace is this Daphne, I suppose, but one Daphne on its own, the Ghost Knight is still going to live forever.
Yeah, so Drachir decided not to sell to adjust the split. That's the correct decision because Lucy is going to cover anyhow, so he doesn't want to lose gold for that reason. Now, will it have hold better with the split?
The Daphne's actually ignoring the Ghost Knight and sniping units in the wave. I don't know if that's good or bad for Drachir, because what it definitely does is it means he won't be able to kill this Ghost Knight in time.
Yeah, so maybe a larger league than he would have wanted.
That hurts. 120% from Drachir, that really hurts. He did snipe a few of those Cobras in the back line because of the reflect from his bunk, coupled with the range from his Daphne, but not killing that Ghost Knight, leaving it on 10% HP, it really hurts.
Yeah, it really hurts. Maybe selling would have been worth it here. Selling 2 Pee-wees, raise the split, make the Ghost Knight go in the split, even boost it maybe.
Yeah, I could see that.
It's a hard decision to make because if it's not a Ghost Knight, then maybe you ignore the pack leader possibly, and then you're in a worse position.
Yeah. But look at this now. So Kingdanzz, 15 workers on his Chaos build, and he hasn't even realized that Kingpin power spike yet. So when he does, Kingdanzz is just going to rocket to the top of the power score charts.
Yeah, right now it's all about what Lucy and Drachir does to... I mean, I say come back. Jules says that they are in a slight lead because of Lucy position in the game. And they do have a little bit of pressure onto the other.
Yeah, but I think that's only because Lucy had her Kingpin power spike already. I think that win percent chance is going to change as soon as Kingdanzz presses the button on his.
So I think the idea right now for Drachir and Lucy is 11. However, Widderson has the LOD. So if he is confident enough to hide it here, he can be in a good position. The thing I'm going to say though, he's lacking the front line. So even if he gets the LOD in the next wave, he might still be susceptible to a leak.
And Lucy and Drachir are threatening like siege ramp sends on wave 11 as well. Even though the LOD is insane, siege ramp's pretty good against it.
Siege ramp's pretty good, especially when you don't have a front line. Look at how much DPS Widderson has.
The triple Daphne here from Drachir looks like is able to hold the income send from Widderson, and Lucy, of course, with her double Kingpin is holding as well, but they just go for an income send.
That's surprising.
Yeah. Do you know why? Lucy was just short of that siege ram. I guess anything else just wouldn't really have cut it against Widderson.
I would disagree with that. Rich plus Pam would have been pretty good because they don't know about the LOD, but it's not even LOD. That's Widderson's building.
Yeah, he's going for a priestess, and this priestess is going to die really quick,
Whoa,
right?
whoa,
He
whoa,
puts
whoa,
the
whoa,
blessing on
Widder.
it. That is risky, Widderson. That is risky.
I'm not confident this is surviving.
No. But maybe he's just happy to spend the blessing here to try and hold what he knows is a pretty big send.
Might just be that, but
But Lucy's even saving 100 Mythium.
oh my god, this is not tanking.
It's not tanking. He was really safe with his high split. But it is dealing a ton of damage. Remember, the blessing does give 18% attack speed as well, so the magic damage doing real wonders here. And again,
Yeah.
only an income send.
He's holding.
And
King
now,
is holding as well.
Lucy and Drachir must be kicking themselves for not going for a full send here because they would have shaved those blessings away.
I mean, only on Widderson. Kingdanzz did not show his yet.
Yeah, understandable. He wants to save that for wave 13 maybe, or... He's going for an egg here, King? Isn't that pretty greedy?
I mean, I'm gonna say Widderson did not push a single worker.
He did not. But he's hiding his pack rats, so remember he has that hidden value.
But where do you go? Where do you go against Widderson?
I mean, I would imagine it's wave 13 when they see this egg from Kingdanzz, but it's just such a hard call.
It is a very hard call, but Lucy did push heavily. She's at 22 workers.
And remember, she didn't full send on 11. She still had more than 100 Mythium left over. And yeah,
There's
here it
sending.
comes, the 13 send. So let's see. Kingdanzz and Widderson, will you send here as well? If so, will it be full or income? Look,
I think the plan for Widderson and Kingdanzz is to skip the wave. I think that's what they wanted to do, and they forced the send here. But is it too risky for them? Do they pay the price?
They do skip. They do skip. Alright, this Blessing Azeria is going to have to do some serious work here in Widderson's lane.
I mean, he...
What?
Oh, no,
Widderson?
Widder! No!
Widderson? No!
It's the same thing that happened yesterday. Does
Yeah.
not expect the send here, but he's full pierce damage. He doesn't have a front line, and there's an egg on his ally.
There's an egg on his ally, so Kingdan's like his value is really strong, but a lot of that value is tucked away in these kingpins, which are really bad on wave 13.
And King yet to use his divine blessing.
Yeah, we've got a question mark ping these rats, I'm afraid, Widderson. Now, the blessing is doing extremely well, of course. The Azeria does stay alive, but now the
There's
Four
another
Eyes is on
front
top
line.
of her. She's gonna go down. There she gets another heal off, actually. But yeah, Widderson leaking, but not badly, honestly. He's gonna kill... No, not quite kill them all.
I mean, you said not a bad league, but this is the door to the comeback of Lucy and Drachir.
This
They get
golem
a lot
dies
of
to the
gold
egg
here.
splash. So Kingdan's sniping one last drill golem here with his egg.
It's still unnecessary risk from Widderson. Again,
Yeah, I
treasure
think so.
hunting.
I think if he didn't treasure hunt there, he would have just held, right? For sure.
Yeah, it's just a question of time. You need tanks, and if you don't have enough tanks, you don't have enough time.
Yeah.
But they do have one thing, it's the Mythium. But
They do have a big
Lucy and
Mythium
Drachir,
lead. Yeah.
what do Lucy and Drachir have?
They have tenacity.
Yeah, exactly. And they have also Divine Blessing Phoenix, covering 15 and 16.
Yep.
Ocean Templar Kingpin, very strong as a tank to give time to the Disciple Circle, possibly. Or
Yeah.
even an LOD, why not, right?
When do they even want to send then on the side of Widderson and Kingdanzz? Because they have
I mean-
insane Mythium in the bank, but they can't save forever when their king is on 47% HP. Widderson, it
If
looks
they-
like is full pushed.
If they aim for a one-shot, they aim 17. However, the value of Widderson is very low, as you pointed out, so they might be forced to just send here. But 21 workers, Widderson, low value. Even themselves to ascend on 15, I'm not confident. So they're going for the 15 cent. That's a strong wave of Drachir and Lucy, and they're skipping. They know they're strong here.
And they're certainly right. I'd be interested to see if they do the king attack upgrades. They only need 5 each.
Ooh. And
I like this Pee-wee here from Drachir just to make sure he's playing against double 4 eyes. He wants to keep the 4 eyes off his Phoenix. He isn't receiving that though. He's actually getting Kraken Siege Ram.
But I really like this because he plays around the most powerful Sen against what he showed, which is double 4 eye.
And
so he knows there's no Vitch, he knows there's no Centaur, he knows there's no Needler, so he can freely spam those Pee-wees.
Yep. Oh, look, this really nice off-tanking there from the Phoenix, giving it the extra damage that it so badly deserves. The Kraken will tank forever, though. Does finally go down, but it's done its damage. The Phoenix is going to die, so that is the blessing gone from Drachir. And if we look at Lucy's lane, this Hades is going absolutely insane here. Her blessing is down as well. Drachir leaks 67%. Lucy's doing even better than that. She's killing everything apart from the boss and the 4 eyes.
So they survive, and they saved Mythium.
They did. They did spend the King attack upgrades, which I'm sure they're very happy with because they do leak pretty decently, so that's going to save them quite some HP here. But now the pressure is definitely in favour of the Underdogs.
So, I'm gonna say to you, right now, Widderson had a good combination in the Trinity Archer Leviathan. So that he had that going for himself, but he doesn't have the value to continue that. Kingdanzz has the same combination though, so that goes a long way for him.
Oh, look at this.
And I would have loved to see Drachir full push to 17 dem.
Yeah.
Because it's Kingdanzz the threat, not Vidder.
Shadow, I have to say, like, Kingdanzz is such a skilled Chaos player that he held his Divine Blessing for 5 waves and then played it on an Azeria on wave 15.
Yeah.
Can you imagine having Chaos skills like that?
I mean, I can only dream of it. I cannot expect it.
Widderson correctly full hunting here, understanding the Sen does not come here. He's also rolled the Leviathan APS Archer in Kingdanzz's lane as well, by the way, as if the Blessing Azeria wasn't enough.
I'm gonna say I really dislike the decision to Lucy not playing to hold. I mean, oh yeah, okay, she's playing to hold, but she pushed as well. But I'm disliking the fact that Drachir did not push hard.
Yeah.
Because Kingdanzz is the problem. It's not Vidder.
Yeah. And Widderson and Kingdanzz, they are saving their Mythium here. So if they're able to survive, and this is a big send from Drachir and Lucy, but if they're able to survive, Widderson and Kingdanzz are going to be in an incredible position here.
Yeah, and that just comes to the fact that Drachir did not push. I really think that's a big mistake from Drachir and Lucy to not have Drachir full pushing and end it.
And just look this, by the way, the Leviathan with a full circle of 6 Trinity Archers around it is just going to deal infinite damage here in Widderson's lane.
But for all long.
Yeah, because he does lack tanks. That's for sure.
Name a good tank here on this wave. Gonna leave you a bit of time. I know it's hard to find.
He has this one Harbinger. Siege Ram's really just proving their worth there, tanking all of that infinite damage from his Archer Circle. Widderson is going to leak absolutely huge, 139%. Meanwhile, though, Kingdanzz with the Blessing Azeria, with the Leviathan Archers, he's just holding. The 840 Mythium send, he makes it look easy.
Yeah, and that just comes back to Drachir not pushing here.
Yeah. Drachir needed to push really hard to make this work.
There's still a lot to the king. Gonna be honest with you.
There's no dangerous mercenaries though. It's only really the wave. But
the
is
wave
it enough?
17 is enough.
Is it enough? It's enough. Underdogs. Come on.
I still dislike the risk of Drachir not for pushing here, having the pressure advantage and Lucy builds so strong on 17.
Yeah.
So I would call misplay here from Drachir, but still worked out in the end.
It's perhaps a misplay, but it worked out for sure. So Lucy and Drachir, congratulations. They have once again taken the lead in this best of 5. They're now 2-1 in favour of the Underdogs. They only need one more match.
They're at game point. You know how I said the eight game stream trust? I fear I might be close to right here.
Yeah, yeah. And this one really comes down to Drachir and Lucy holding their nerve on 15. They had
Yep.
tenacity on their side. They had good rolls. The sends were huge. 840, 880 from Widderson and Kingdanzz. And sure, they got the leaks in, but with that fully upgraded King attack, with the 100% tenacity, they were fine. They knew they couldn't die. No matter what, they know they couldn't die, so they can save past that wave 15. They can send this insane 1000 Mythium against Widderson, 840 against Kingdanzz, and even though Kingdanzz holds here, it's still enough to get lethal damage. Well played,
Yeah,
Underdogs. Fantastic game.
so I'm gonna be fair on both sides, okay? I called a misplay on Drachir on the end play to not push. I'm gonna tell the misplay to Widderson here on 13, sacrificing a lot of King HP, making this play possible
Oh,
for Lucy
yeah.
and Drachir.
Yeah, those pack rats on Widderson's lane, like, he's going to have nightmares about those tonight. I'm sure he will. And Kingdanzz with that egg as well. Like, they know what they're doing. When Kingdanzz places this egg on wave 12, they know they are baiting a wave 13 send, especially because King has, like, the double Kingpin as well. So they know they're baiting a 13 send, and Widderson still hunts his pack rats and leaks 83% instead of what would I have to assume that would have been an easy hold with 3 pack rats alive, because it would have just kept his Divine Blessing Azaria pumping out damage, pumping out healing, and he'd not only hold his own lane, but he'd fully cover his teammate, and instead of going from 93 to 46% King HP, they would have stayed at 93, and then maybe this game has a different ending. But as is, just really well played to the Underdogs.
Yeah, I mean, I think it just shows to you that both teams respect themselves, respectively very highly. They have very high respect to one another, and because they just need to make those risky calls all the time to squeeze out these wins.
Yep. All right, Shadow. So this is match point now for the Underdogs. Kingdanzz and Widderson, they must be feeling the pressure here. This is maybe the first time in a while that they've been unfavoured going into a game number 4 of the Nova Cup finals.
Right.
And it looks like King's having to take a little break, in fact.
Yeah, let's not jinx it, right? Because we still see Drachir and Lucy the underdogs, right? No.
Of course, yeah.
No. But really, I really think you're right that Widderson and Kingdanzz should start feeling it. I think Widderson being afraid to take yellow here is costing him a little bit.
Yeah. But at the same time, now that they're on match point, does Widderson ever dare to take YOLO in this situation? Because all it takes is for him to YOLO like an unplayable role and the tournament's over.
What I want to see is Kingdanzz on Fiesta. I want him to switch it up. I want him to control the pace of the game. I want him to control the pace of the game.
One of these 4 players picking a Fiesta in this crucial game number 4.
I think if you're ahead, you probably don't do it on Lucy and Drachir's side. You probably go down to the cartel on Lucy, or maybe a YOLO somewhere. I know Lucy's not a YOLO player, so probably not. But if you're back against the wall, making the game on your pace might be the better choice. I mean, the chaos is not working for Kingdanzz at the moment, so I would say that changing the pace could be good for them. That's all I'm saying. Whatever the mastermind they use to change the pace up, they need to change the pace a little bit.
Yeah, 100%. It's going to be an interesting one for sure. Will Abrasiert be able to keep their cool? They are 2-1 down as we move into game number 4, and the Underdogs with everything to play for. Will this be their month? Come on, Underdogs. Game number 4. Let's go.
Let's go to game 5. No, no. Let's go and see what they choose here. Embargo, Pound Shop,
Chaos again.
There's Pound Shop, has to play Chaos.
Yeah.
And Vidder having faith into his redraw.
Lucy picking up the cartel, so her old reliable there. This is something that she plays a lot on the ladder. She's got a decent role. It's not an insane one by any stretch.
But wait, Drachir is out of the greed, out of the cash out. What does he have left? I would have expected
YOLO from Drachir. Okay. It's a pretty good one as well with the casket seedling.
Cascade Seedling, fast and aggressive, just like they like it. And Lucy has the same judge, by the way.
Yeah. They can't both play it though, surely.
I do think they won't both of them take it. I think Lucy's role is very good for it, though.
Yeah.
But I doubt she will play it, though.
We have to
I think she
admire
will.
the size of Drachir's balls here with the YOLO pickup in the crucial game number 4. It's match point. He's not scared. He says, YOLO, baby.
I mean, I was questioning what he had left, and it was pretty much Cartel or Yellow. Lucy being Cartel, I really doubt double Cartel would have been their favorite play, and so taking Yellow makes sense here in the end.
All right, Lucy with the Nightmare opener. She has the Oathbreaker as well. So despite not having the Butcher, and she can re-roll for that still, she has really good options for the first 7 waves, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you still have the Healing Source with the Pilgrim, which is a very valid option.
Yep.
A gun from Widderson. It's going to be the mid gun. He does have the Infiltrator for wave 3, which is very good.
Kingdanzz again with the Chaos 95 gold 5 worker opener. Would have been in big trouble versus a snail here. Doesn't receive one. That's interesting, actually. I don't think we've seen any wave 1 snails so far on the stream today.
No, because oftentimes if you go for a snail, if the opponent is Fiesta, you're pretty much down a little bit because then they have the pressure. If it's an aggressive opener and it's a 5 worker, you're probably a bit down in pressure too. So it's just showing the respect that they have, that they can make proactive play to a snail on 1.
Yeah, and Drachir even gets another king upgrade here, so he's just going 7 workers, no doubt.
I would be careful for him because he doesn't really have that big wave 5 option, so I think 6 workers is more reasonable. I don't think 7 workers is.
Yeah, he goes 7.
Okay.
Okay.
I mean, it's risky because his best option is to build a Sakura on wave 5.
That might be what he does, actually. I've seen Drachir play this before.
That's if that's what it is, because this is his best option with 7 workers. All the rest is too low DPS against a possible Hermit or a possible Impson.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what he's going to do. He's going to add the Pixie somewhere around here on wave 4, and he's going to turn it into a Sakura on wave 5.
So let's see. Widderson does go for the gun Infiltrator. Lucy does not get 3 snails. Oh, she does. Interesting.
Kingdanzz rolled to Seedling himself, but he was already looking strong on this wave 3. Wave 4 might be a different story. Widderson?
Mid-gun alert!
Yeah, he's getting his gun run down. That Infiltrator was 1 square too far back, it seems, and that's a 47% leak to 3 snails on Widderson's lane. Meanwhile, Lucy against the 60, she will leak as well. Didn't get the perfect focus, but only 19% there. And of course, both teammates will be able to cover the leaks, it seems.
I mean, the biggest thing that's happening here is that Kingdanzz is stuck at 5 worker because Drachir is sitting at 100 Mithium.
Yeah, he is, but look what Kingdanzz did. He very, very skillfully rolled the Nightmare on wave 3, fully shifted his gold, and he'll just try and get that on the board for wave 4.
Or does he just go Canopy because he might get the tech with a Growl later?
He's getting a Brute Send here from Drachir. Drachir's going to be very sad when he sees this Nightmare. It's 2 brutes, but the Nightmare is just perfect on this wave. Kingdanzz 415 value with the ideal unit for wave 4.
Pretty sure Slicken is pretty sad here now. If he's looking at this, not seeing the Canopy.
Yeah. I mean,
it's the
definitely
best
the right
option for
choice from
Kingdanzz.
Kingdanzz. Definitely the right choice, yeah. He's even leaving a little gap here for the Butcher that he's going to roll at some point.
Oh, okay. Drachir is not preparing wave 5 that much here. Going for the upgraded casket. And he's going to rely on Lucy covering him. He was hoping for a big leak on Kingdanzz, which might
he's
still
going to be
happen.
very sad when he sees this Nightmare from King. It should still be a lead, but it won't be a massive one. But Waldo over here getting the 3 snails. Hello? You understand your teammate's getting 120 cent?
I gotta say, it is because of mid-gun.
Oh, Waldo! And this is quite some king damage. Obviously, Kingdanzz did insanely well, and a very nice full shift there on wave 3 without even knowing what his wave 4 role was going to be. Now, of course, he got lucky with the Nightmare, but just the presence of mind, knowing that he has to fully shift his gold there to be good enough to hold on wave 4.
The problem I have currently, like with how Widderson and Kingdanzz played this current series, it was always Widderson saving on Drachir, Widderson saving on Drachir, Widderson saving on Drachir. They never swapped the sending order.
Yeah. So for some reason, they think that Drachir is the carry player on the side of the Underdogs, but let me tell you, both Drachir and Lucy are fully capable of wearing those carry pants when they need to.
Oh yeah, trust me, I know that. I faced them so much in the ladder that even if I get one out of the game, the other one is still invincible.
Yeah. And Kingdanzz, it looks like he would have leaked pretty badly to a resend, but that does not come. And look at this shadow, a wave 6 mimic coming out pre-income from Widderson. Drachir, what is your answer? This is a lot. And 2 friends from Kingdanzz as well.
He doesn't have an answer.
He doesn't have an answer.
So he's gonna rely on Lucy. She's close to value.
Lucy's very strong here. Very strong. The canopy's insane, but the 2 brutes can slow the canopy down a lot.
Yeah, it really depends on where the brutes are. If one brute is in the split and one is in the main wave, then it's pretty good, but I don't see the brute being in the split here. I see the 2 brutes on the canopy.
Okay, so 180 send for Drachir, 160 for Lucy. Let's have a look at this. He's sniping the left-hand side brute. That does die very quickly, but now the second brute is slowing down the canopy. Nightmare is untouched so far. This mimic is just doing the Lord's work. In Drachir's lane, he's leaking massively. He doesn't even kill. Look at this AoE damage against the Roccos. 85% leak from Drachir. Lucy's canopy did die. She's only having the Nightmare survive, which won't be enough to clear up anything in the mid. It does go on the low HP Rocco, actually, so she can kill 2, in fact. Okay, that's better than I thought. 18 gold, though, on Widderson's Mimic. This is a crazy good result.
You say crazy good result, however, I'll just say that to you.
Yeah?
I do think Drachir and Lucy came out ahead of this trade a little bit because Drachir was 7 workers throughout this whole time.
That's true, and that is the power of the Casket Seedling, right?
Yeah.
He was able to have like insane workers because he could push his 7th worker during wave 2 already, and then the starve from Widderson to wave 6 is just, it's not as bad as it would have been with like any other role, more or less.
Yep. I mean, it's the second game that Widderson gets Drachir big. But still, I feel like that both times he came out worst into the trade.
Yep.
So we're gonna see what's the next play here. If you're Widderson and you look at Drachir's lane, you're looking possibly at wave 9. So you could expect Drachir building the King Claw for 9. So Growl preparation on the 8.
Kingdanzz, very ballsy here, 580 value on wave 7. There was, of course, no send from Drachir, but even 2 lizards could have been very problematic for Kingdanzz here.
He's going for income, and same as Widder.
And Drachir and Lucy, they're saving their Mythium.
Okay, I prefer this. Yeah, that nice decision by Drachir to go for the planes instead.
Yep.
I didn't see it in his role. I didn't see in his role first, but
well, he has rerolled now, so
yeah.
Widderson only has, speaking of rerolls, only has 1 of his 4 redraws left, and he has got Ocean Templar APS Gates, which is pretty good.
It is pretty good, but do you get there? You starved yourself pretty hard in the early game.
That's true. And Drachir should do just fine against this. His casket is on the wave. The spell is doing what it needs to. The Sea Dragons, of course, are going to one-shot that dino. That looks
An
like a hold.
one-shot, right?
Yeah, and Lucy is holding as well. So only income sends, of course. Oh, wait, no, Drachir, you're not holding. Unless...
easily king, but like 1 or 2.
Yeah.
It does extend their Mythium lead.
It does.
And
they already have 200 for Drachir, 250 for Lucy, and this wave, it's lasting even longer.
That's 15 workers on Lucy with Cartel as well, so
Yeah.
pretty good early game outcome for Lucy at the moment.
Kingdanzz did roll the boar here in his Chaos roll. He will need
Flower
to
is
send
better.
income to get it.
Flower is better here.
Oh, Kingdanzz though. He makes a bounty hunter. He's going to live to regret that, I think.
Yeah.
One
He
flower,
does get the
one
flower.
bounty. I mean, he's on 1235 value. This is the true
And
Chaos overbuild that we've all come to know and love.
no, Widderson reads a 10 cent. Does
Okay.
not go for a gate. Goes for an orchid instead.
Orchids are still pretty good, but neither of them have been boosted. And this Centaur from Lucy is just going to wail on all of Widderson's Swift Arcane units that are all grouped up because of the gun placement. This Centaur is just perfect for Lucy. Look at this. Widderson's getting completely overwhelmed.
He's leaking 100%.
He's leaking everything. That Centaur's even tanking 107% there from Widderson. Kingdanzz, he is doing better, of course, with his 1235 value, but he's not going to cover, I don't think. This Canopy, it can't 1v1 an Ogre.
He just read 10 and he prepared to snipe the Siege Ram with the Orchid boost, but it just didn't happen.
It didn't happen, so Kingdanzz only leaking the Ogre. That's about the best result he could possibly hope for. This is still going to be insane king damage. The Underdogs are in a really good position. Remember, guys, this is match point here.
So, okay, let's start talking about the way that Widderson and Kingdanzz can come back here. We do talk about the synergy of the Ocean Templar gates on Widderson. The income situation is still quite fine, considering that Lucy is Cartel.
Yep.
However, the worker is pretty low. So what they require is Lucy and Drachir sending a bit too early. So hiding the gates could be good because the play from Drachir and Lucy is the old classic of Drachir, 9 to 13.
Yeah. And the gate surely is a strong unit there. And the double Orchid is pretty good as well.
So we're gonna see if there's an adaptation because Kingdanzz is pretty weak on 13 still, as what it is shown as of yet.
They probably could have won with just a brute resend, by the way, on wave 10.
Yeah, but it is a very risky play in a winning position.
Of course.
So,
but Kingdanzz, it looks like he's leaking no send.
He's leaking no send. But those are the risks that Kingdanzz and Widderson needs to take
yeah, they have to
come
play
back.
risky in this position. Alright, here come the income send from Kingdanzz and Widderson. So again, Drachir and Lucy, they will just... Oh, they go for a full giant snail send, actually. Okay. Hoping to make something happen.
Okay. So they're predicting the long save from Drachir and Lucy.
Yep.
So that's what they're predicting. So they're playing around it by going for the only play that could work around it. And that's going for giant snail every wave.
Yeah.
They farm the shutdown on Lucy and they try to resist the next send. So that's a way to do it. Two
really important things to point out here, Shadow. The first is that Drachir and Lucy did not take Embargo. They both took Pawn Shop, so they're really high value. Lucy nearly 1800 value, in fact. And the second thing is that Kingdanzz, with his Chaos in a Pawn Shop game, the second time in this finals, has not been able to pick up the Pawn Shop. He's been forced into another spell.
Yeah, it's the thing. It's like, yes, you have this idea, but if you're behind, it's not really a good play.
Yeah. And Lucy, it looks like just she should hold this. There's still quite a few tanks alive, so maybe she'll have some difficulty, but I think she's just fine. And Drachir over here, he's doing pretty good, but I think does he just hold? He does. Lucy is easily holding there with her full HP doppelganger with double lifesteal. She's having a very easy time over there, and it looks like the units are shooting the Lifebinder over the top of the centers.
You say he holds. I was like, you sure?
I didn't think those Lifebinders would get sniped like this, but they did, and that was enough to make Drachir easily hold. Yeah, easily hold.
Easy. Yeah. Not even close.
But man, that was a super long wave. Drachir and Lucy have crazy amounts of Mythium saved up here. Widderson, sure, he wants to hide the gate, but one Hellgate on wave 13, is it going to be enough against a 600-700 Mythium send coming out from Lucy? I don't think it is. But his Orchids are insane, right? We have to say this. His Orchids are insane.
Against DTs, are they?
Against Kraken, against
I
Ram.
mean, it's Kraken DTs the send from Lucy. I would expect.
Is wave 14 the play even? Because they're not really under any pressure for Drachir and Lucy. Okay, here's the siege ram, so there's our answer.
Yeah.
And there's the double 4 eyes from Drachir.
Yeah, I think it's the correct play for them to finish it on 13. I mean, risking it on 14, you risk a leak on 13, you give a shutdown, then they have the correct answer for 14.
Yep. Now, Abrasiert, they are sending for leaks here with the full Giant Snails from Widderson, the 4 eyes from Kingdanzz, and I assume he goes for full Giant Snails post-income as well. We do have... Okay, Kingdanzz is unsure whether he wants the Hades on the APS or whether he wants to just play with Fatalizers. It looks like he's going for 1 Hades and 1 Berserker, okay. And Widderson, of course, is fully boosting these Orchids over here, but the Siege Ram's going to tank a lot of that damage.
Yeah, one thing going for them is that Kingdanzz is on value because of the rats.
Yep.
There is the 4 eyes, but
and there's no
Hades...
Kraken to stop that Hades from summoning more Thanatoses, right?
Yeah,
so it's going to do a ton of work.
Might carry this.
It's still a massive send, though. Hades does just now get its 2nd summon out, but it's doing very, very well. Hades! Widderson does leak 89%, so he not only has to hold his own lane, but also be able to have some cover potential in the mid. That is a 25 gold shutdown, 70% leak from the Giant Snails in Drachir's lane. Lucy is holding as expected, and Kingdanzz, he does hold here. There's 4 creeps in the mid, including a Centaur, so Kingdanzz, despite their very impressive hold in his own lane, he's not able to kill a single creep from Widderson here. Is this enough? 35% HP. They have got some King Attack upgrades. It looks like they're going to survive, but man, these guys are in trouble. King down to 15% HP for Abrasiert.
Okay. We have a full push from Drachir. They want to end on 15.
Yep.
Kingdanzz is pushing though, and Widderson is the one not pushing.
Okay.
So they read correctly. They read that it's gonna be Drachir.
Oh, Drachir's even selling units here. Wow.
Wait, is
very
that a
nice call there from Kingdanzz. Very nice call.
Is it a comeback?
This will be insane if Kingdanzz and Widderson win this one here with this suicide read.
I mean, what needs to happen is Widderson holding 15. He cannot afford to... I mean, okay. He can afford to leak very, very slowly, which is impossible with his build. So he needs to hold. Then he needs to do it in the middle long enough.
But, I mean, Drachir is definitely leaking no send here because he sold quite a few of his units. So the send is going to be absolutely enormous. Widderson has to not only hold, but... I mean, Lucy surely will leak here. Kingdanzz is going for a full suicide push. Although,
yeah, so
is he? He's actually stopped pushing.
He stopped pushing?
So he went for the full push with his wave 13 gold, but he's going to build again on 15.
Oh, I know. The thing that he wants is a slow leak. Because if Widderson holds, it's going to be fast because of the Orchids.
Yeah.
So this means that if Kingdanzz leaks too fast, and the 2 others leaks the slowest, then they will go down at the same time. So what he wants is that the 2 waves of Drachir and Lucy goes down the middle and already start going down while his wave is still going down.
Yeah. Now Lucy does have the highest value. Oh, actually pretty much identical to Widderson. And Widderson is boosting as many of these as he can, and he has the Ocean Templar canopies. He used his final reroll. He found the Graal, the ideal unit to keep those tanks alive on wave 15. This might just clutch it. Will this be the dream comeback for Abrasiert, or are the Underdogs going to take their first Nova Cup victory? This is so close.
Lucy is looking pretty strong.
Drachir, of course, leaks everything, but these canopies are just living forever with the Ocean Templar buff. I think Widderson just holds. He does. Let's have a look at Lucy's lane. She's going to leak, Shadow.
Kingdanzz leak is slow.
Kingdanzz is even doing insanely well with his suicide push. But Widderson, he's just fully holding. What do you mean is it slow enough? Widderson's going to cover the leak. And the Underdogs, I think they're going to die here, Shadow.
They're dying.
Abrasiert with the insane comeback here in Wave 4.
He's just
Absolutely
dealing.
insane. Shadow, what the hell just happened? Man!
What? Eh? I mean, it's just the chaos coming at clutch with the Hades on 13.
Holy moly. Yeah, that Hades, the insane hold there from Kingdanzz on Wave 13, and able to... I'm just absolutely gobsmacked, Shadow. This is one of the most insane comebacks we've ever seen on a Nova Cup.
I don't understand.
Wow. Kingdanzz. I mean, he's pretty good, right? He's a pretty good player.
I mean, Widderson just not pushing us. I know he did push 3, but...
He pushed from 11 up to the dizzy heights of 14, but Drachir with the full suicide play there, clearly he wasn't holding anything on 15, and Lucy receiving that full push 640 send from Kingdanzz, she just couldn't hold. She didn't have the same roll strength as Kingdanzz with the Hades.
Maybe you were right, maybe it was 14. I thought it was too risky, but I did not see the Hades come up.
Man, that's just absolutely insane. And Widderson with the super clutch Ocean Templar canopy is just outrageous tank value on Wave 15. They can't kill them.
Wait,
the split shot just, they can't focus the canopies down, and with that Ocean Templar regen, it's just absolutely absurd amounts of tank value.
They knew about the LOD. They knew about the LOD on Wave 12.
They did, yeah. He placed
so
it
I'm
on
gonna
wave.
call the misplay on the Sun here.
Played it on 11 even.
Like, you just Kraken 4-eye.
Yeah, Kraken would have maybe had a different result here against Kingdanzz. Because they didn't know about the Berserker either, so they weren't sending against a Fatalizer potential. I guess he was maybe sending against like a Phoenix as the worst case scenario, maybe not understanding that Kingdanzz is playing Chaos. But, man, either way, that comeback from Abrasiert is just off the charts.
I mean, just
really
reading that
stuff.
with the Hades, Drachir's gonna full push.
Man.
That's a heartbreaker.
That's a really insane comeback. I just...
But do you know what this means, Penny?
It means we get a Game 5, Shadow.
Yes.
It means we get a Game 5.
Against all odds.
Against all odds. Man, I can't wait. I actually can't wait to see in 5 minutes' time just Twitch chat going absolutely crazy when they see this most insane comeback of all time.
I mean, was Drachir in the wrong to full push? Was he in a better position to hold with 15?
I just think after the Wave 13 hold, the game is kind of flipped on its head, right? Because what could they do? If Drachir doesn't full push, Kingdanzz is definitely holding with his Hades on 15.
Drachir is holding 15, no? But then Widderson holds still. Yeah, you're right. It's just an awkward spot.
It's a really awkward spot. They needed to win on 13. And they were super far ahead. And Kingdanzz just got really... You know, he had a good roll. He had really good focus with his Hades getting a ton of last hits, summoning all those extra dragons. So he was able to hold his own lane, even do a bit of damage in the mid. Kept them alive there, which was super clutch, because that was a really fast and aggressive play from Drachir and Lucy. But it wasn't enough. And Abrasiert, they somehow managed to bring this one back from the brink of defeat.
Yeah, and now both teams are on match point.
Both teams are on match point. Wow.
But now we don't have redraw on Widderson. We don't have chaos on Kingdanzz.
Yep. Dude, what? I can barely talk, Shadow. That game was insane. Alright, so come on, Underdogs. Don't let that one get to you. That is such a hard loss, actually. They were within centimetres of getting their first Nova Cup victory.
They
and
were
they just had
feeling
it
it. They were
snatched
feeling
away
it
from them.
already.
But don't let the pressure get to you. Drachir, Lucy, you can do this. Come on, guys. Keep a cool head. Game number 5. Everything to play for. Let's go.
Widderson on Cartel, Kingdanzz on Greed, Drachir on Cartel, Lucy. Is the Fiesta coming?
Surely she can't Fiesta here. I'd love it, though.
But what's left? Redraw? YOLO? Greed? Double Cartel.
Double Cartel. Okay. So they have to play this one very fast and aggressive, because if it goes to the late game, they're going to be in giga trouble.
I mean, you say fast and aggressive, but I could say they could play it slow and methodical.
No, they would never. They would never, Shadow. Kingdanzz with his patent Crusher Neko opener, very solid there. Widderson with the Nightmare Oathbreaker with Cartel as well. It does mean he can go 5 workers after wave 1 rather than having to wait for wave 2 to start. So that's a nice little thing there. Lucy has the same, but she does not have the Oathbreaker. They're going for the snails, and it's going to backfire.
It's gonna backfire.
I mean, I like the play, I like the idea, but it's just giving free gold to Widderson and Kingdanzz.
Yeah, and it's gonna give pressure. It's gonna give also a lot of stuff, yes.
Yep.
A lot of workers.
Uh-oh.
But let's see, it's not all over here, just because there are snails. It's just a slight advantage to Widderson and Kingdanzz in terms of gold.
Yep.
But we still have double cartel in the play here for Drachir and Lucy. They will look for some long save in the beginning and also fend them off from Widderson and Kingdanzz. Nightmares, though, pretty hard to deal with, especially with the Widderson special with the Oathbreaker. It's one of his favorite.
Here's a snail send from Kingdanzz. He gets it pre-incon. So he is returning the favor for Lucy, at least.
Yep. Okay. It's a long shot. But what do you think about a long save for a Mimic against Widderson? Or a wave 6 send?
When I see the Oathbreaker on 3, I quite often like to skip wave 5 against the Nightmare and try something like a Drake on 6. So not really going all in with the Mimic, because you can normally leak the Drake at least on wave 6, but still have the income.
It is true. And right now we see Pierce damage on both sides, and they're going to send on 3 at least. So now after that wave 3 send, what will be the decision is really what will decide the game. Will Drachir and Lucy try and exploit the double cartel? I mean, Drachir is already exploiting it. He's going to save it a bit here. Only Lucy sending.
But Widderson and Kingdanzz are saving their Mythium as well, so they can still apply that pressure whenever they see fit, especially when Lucy sends her Mythium here. Will she go with the snail to go with that lizard or not? And if she does, how will Widderson's focus look here? She does get the snail. Okay, so let's have a look at Widderson's lane. This can leak decently, or it can full hold. And it looks like the Oathbreaker is tanking full, so it's going to leak.
I mean, we've seen you leak to the lizard only, right?
I've leaked to a snail only with Nightmare Oathbreaker, because I'm just that good.
I mean, you need to be pretty skilled to leak the 20 with Nightmare Oathbreaker.
Yeah, exactly, right? So 30% leak for Widderson, he's completely fine with that. It does mean he has to wait until the end of this wave before he can push his 7th worker, but I do expect that he will push his 7th worker, and there it goes.
The Dino can be quite dangerous.
Against Kingdanzz.
Oh, and yeah,
he's going to add a warg here.
A lot of Pierce. Dino is very threatening. He could have sent here to get a Pilgrim, decided against it.
Yeah, he's still on 405 value though. Drachir does add the snail, but the way that this is lined up with the warg so low down, won't both tanks go left here?
No, the tank should be on the Varg here.
It does go
Oh
left.
wait, no, you're right.
But the Neko, will it go straight on that Dino or will it start one-shotting the wave? It is on the Dino. Okay, that's really good focus for Drachir. Less good for Kingdanzz because he's going to struggle to kill this Dino. And his Crusher does go down. The Warg is doing extremely well over there in the split though. And now the Neko is one-shotting the chickens. Is it just a hold against 100 send? It is.
It is. The Varg was crucial. And that's the Send on 5.
Okay, so double brute from Widderson. Drachir's going to struggle with that one, and imps from Kingdanzz. Lucy with the golden bucklers here. I mean, it's just going to be absolutely shredded.
It's not looking promising, despite the cartel.
She could use her gold a bit more efficiently here because look, she has 30 gold. She's adding a buckler. She could build 2 gargoyles instead.
Yeah, I mean, she decides to add a polywog.
But 120 send for Lucy, the 140 from Drachir, and those brutes are doing serious damage against that casket. The Sea Dragon does tank perfectly though, so that's something. Lucy though, those imps absolutely shredding her bucklers, that defense going down very, very quickly. This Seraphim doing a ton of damage though, so at least that's something. But these are big leaks here, 49% from Lucy, 53% from Drachir, and with imps and 2 brutes reaching the king, they're in danger, Shadow.
Yeah, that's the danger of double cartel if you fall behind. But now they do have the midterm pressure. They need to make that next send work. I thought that 6 was a good wave, but now with all this gold.
Yeah, 57% HP already on the side of the underdogs. They truly are the underdogs now.
I mean, Joe still says that there's a chance of a comeback because there's still the large midterm lead from Lucy onto Veda.
Hey Shadow, if last game was able to be a comeback for Abrasiert, then anything is possible.
Anything is possible. So we do have the Orchid coming up. We do have the Nightmare show. I do think that we will see the 7th send from Lucy and Drachir. Unless they think Widderson and Kingdanzz are going for Income King here. And then they can go 8.
Yeah, let's see what happens. Drachir has pushed all the way up to 7 workers, and he has got the Cage of Pain, right? So presumably he can upgrade that even without sending. But no, the 7 send does come out. There's double brute from Drachir. Lucy presumably wants a mimic. Or, yeah, there's Lucy's mimic. She won't get a brute to go with it, unfortunately.
A little bit unfortunate. Drachir is pushing heavily. He wants to make that send work, and that push...
Kingdanzz going for a green
He
devil here,
does
so
get
just
another
wanting
brute
tank
here on
value.
Drachir.
Yeah, he does.
Does he? It's close.
Very close. He gets it.
Does.
Okay, so triple brute walking into Kingdanzz's lane. They need to get some serious work done here. All 3 brutes straight on the green devil, by the way.
Yeah, that's
And now
not ideal
straight
for
on the
Kingdanzz.
Nekomata.
Oh, there's
The
one
Nekomata's
stack.
not even 7 stacked, by the way. So 1 bruised is down, the Nekomata is down, Nightmare is now tanking the brute, the Bone Crusher actually the last unit alive. Oh,
Penny.
and Widderson Penny leaking the Mimic here, 209 HP, 18 gold on that bad boy.
But I'm gonna be honest with you, I don't think they bring down the King HP down to their level.
No, they don't. They're not going to even up the King HP here, but it's something, right?
It is something. It's all about the next curve here, and they decide for the recent here. Very risky to go for the recent.
Well, I think they're just feeling under the pressure, though, because Widderson and Kingdanzz, they didn't send on wave 7 there. So now Kingdanzz has 200 in the bank, Widderson's not far behind, and Drachir and Lucy with this resend here might just be signing their own death warrant, Shadow.
No. They're predicting the wave 9 send. Lucy preparing for it.
Ah, nice. So already preparing for the wave 9 with that Millennium.
Same goes for Drachir.
Yeah, okay, Shadow Dance, a pretty solid unit. But they can even just go wave 10 if they want to, now that they get this Income King resend.
But then you have the double on Lucy, and you have the Sky Queens on Drachir.
That's true.
But it's gonna be a large send, you're right.
Alright, is neither player presumably leaking this Income resend here because their builds are both very strong on wave 8.
I mean, hopefully for Drachir and Lucy they don't leak.
Yeah, right? That would just be really bad for those guys. And yeah, indeed,
Let's see.
Widderson and
We have a
Kingdanzz
skip.
easily holding.
We do
But
have a
another
skip.
resend coming out from Drachir. And yeah, wave 10, looking dangerous.
But Lucy's on value.
She can
Still
have a
on value.
doppel, but like, then she's just really lacking the tank value for it. Because her most expensive unit is this ranged Millennium here. It won't do anything to keep a doppelganger alive.
It's all depending on what's the send next. Lucy is shifting. Drachir.
He's shifting a bit as well, is he? Or is he just going to make a pack rat? He does, okay.
But Lucy shifting is a
Only 50 gold.
very nice
though.
read.
Yeah, a nice read.
Okay, only a 40 send onto Kingdanzz, so maybe they go full here.
Does Widderson leak to
Drachir
no
is
send?
Lucy's
Think he
sending
does.
for income.
Yeah,
Drachir
Widderson's
should
going to leak
follow.
no send here.
Ooh, that's a lot of gold though for Lucy. I mean, yes, it's good for time, but it gives gold for Lucy that is close to value already.
That's true. And it guarantees that she gets that doppelganger. She might have had to sell some units for it otherwise. But this is just such a long wave, Shadow. And they need those king attack upgrades as well, right? Yeah, they're both saving a little bit. No, okay, they're not. They're actually sending. But they need those king attacks. Kingdanzz and Widderson, they save again, Shadow. They're not messing about.
That,
Widderson has his doppelganger, but with so little value.
Are they saving too long?
Are they saving for next game? I think if Lucy and Drachir had gone for a full send here, they probably would just be saving for next game, but it's only income king.
I thought that's what they were going for after Lucy skip, but no.
Okay, there's still 100 send for Kingdanzz and an 80 send for Widderson if you ignore the king ups. It might just prove too much.
The doppel on Vidder is doing a lot of work here.
It is for sure doing a lot of work. It's still alive here, but I think it's going to die. And Kingdanzz, he's going to leak as well. Yeah, Widderson leaks only very small though, 30%. Kingdanzz 51%, but look at their Mythium counts. The Siege Ram has been sent from Widderson and he still has 100 Mythium to spare and press the attack.
It's still a lot of gold here going on Lucy and Drachir.
It's a lot of gold, but the sends are absolutely enormous, Shadow.
And they are, and it's gonna be buffed by the press the attack.
But Drachir and Lucy could just press the attack full send themselves. I think they just have to play for a race.
They could. It's a
Like,
very
surely
hard call
they know
to
they're
make
not
because
holding
Lucy,
this send.
I mean,
Surely.
Lucy.
She's got good
still looking
tanks.
pretty decent.
She's got good tanks, but not really good damage.
I mean, the
Only
Vitch is
magic
very good
damage is
against it.
this devilfish here, which she needs to turn into a seraphim. They do press the attack. Will they full send, or is it going to be king upgrades?
I mean, what's the best that Drachir can have?
It's a full
Brutes,
send. He goes brutes. Okay, what does Lucy send? Just
Full
DT
DT?
spam. And Widderson does boost here. He's on 1300 value. Okay, I think we're going to see
race.
Wave 11 game ending one way or the other. I just don't know which way it's going to be.
I'm gonna keep you updated on the smaller sends here against Vidder and Kingdanzz.
Okay,
You
I'll
can
keep
look
my
at-
camera on Drachir and Lucy then. Lucy obviously struggling against the Ghost Knight here. Her doppelganger does reach the wave. It doesn't kill the Witch though. Widderson leaking 67%. Lucy leaking now. Drachir leaking, and Kingdanzz is holding
is
the
low.
longest. He does leak though, and the King HP is in advantage of Lucy and Drachir, but their leak is so much faster. They are going to go down, and it looks like an Abrasiert victory here on Wave 11.
Yeah.
Wow! What a game! Shadow, these last two games have been absolutely crazy.
They have been, but we do have a February winner, and it is Vidder and Kingdanzz yet again.
Widderson and Kingdanzz. Jeez, Shadow. If you'd asked me about 20 minutes ago who the champion was going to be, I would have told you Lucy and Drachir, because they were so far ahead in game number 4. But there was a dream comeback there, and there was an insane finish to game number 5 here, and that means that Abrasiert are once again your Nova Cup champions. What a series, though! Holy! Let me send the good
I'm
game
gonna
thumb
be
ups to all
honest
4
with
players.
you. I think that if Drachir sends a Drake onto King, he probably leaks faster
Instead of the brutes? Yeah, because the
instead of
brutes
the
are just
Brutes.
semi-tanky, right?
Yeah, and
Ah, man.
the Drake is just good against the front line.
Yeah. But at the same time, if they full sent on 10, they might have just won there as well.
Yeah, that too. It was just a hard spot, but I really thought that after wave 9, like Lucy and Drachir would have full sent on 10 because
Yeah.
Lucy skipped.
Man,
I
that
was
was...
really thinking that it did not happen.
I mean, the most she could have sent is like 2 brutes, which you might be thinking there's no way that's enough.
True.
They probably are. They clearly are expecting a wave 10 send, right? So I can't fault them for the income king play, really. It's only because we have God mode, right? We can see what everybody is doing, that we can see a full send would have been good. But if you're Drachir and Lucy, you're just desperately trying to survive. So I think the income king play on 10 there is clearly understandable. And I do like the fact that they went for the PTA race on 11 instead of trying to survive, which just was never going to happen against a send of
Yeah, no, it
600 on
almost
wave
worked.
11.
Almost worked.
It almost works. It almost works. And in fact, even though Lucy leaked faster, Abrasiert's king was already taking damage. So they ended the game with 18% there. And this has got to be one of the most insane Nova Cup finals we've ever seen.
Yeah, indeed, and we did have 8 games in total, so
Yeah.
I mean, well played to each